What's up, guys? Ben here real quick before the podcast with Gui. Just wanted to say, if you can, follow me on Spotify and give me a 5-star review. That would mean the world. I'm also on Instagram at The Last House on the Left podcast, and the same thing for YouTube. This was a really cool conversation with Gui, and we get into some very good, but maybe even a little bit heated discussion. So Gui's quite the... he made quite an argument for some of the claims he made. So hope you guys dig it, and I will see you around. More to come. Peace. Last house on the left. This is where I chop it up with my friends, kill time, and speak what's on my mind. And this Sunday afternoon, I have Gui Alves. What's up, bro?
What's going on, brother?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
You too, man. It's always funny when I start out a podcast. It's so interesting because I'm starting it out. I have to introduce or say hi to someone. I'm like, oh, it's kind of awkward and weird, but it's like it's part of the process, you know.
Now that you've done it a bit, like, have your nerves calmed down, or is it still like a little bit nerve-wracking every time you start off a podcast?
Yeah, it's a little bit, but also like I'm a talker, so it's like just the whole verbal diarrhea thing, you know.
Yeah.
But no, it's been cool, man. I think so. I had the idea from one of my I think it was my little sister Abby and one of my other close friends that was just on the podcast. Jesse. So she ended up my friend. This arm is a little wobbly. So like halfway through the podcast, it's just gonna like clunk on the speaker, make this huge like clipping sound. But yeah, to make a long story short, Abby and one of my childhood friends, Jesse, were like, you should do a podcast. Like you're well rounded and can talk about stuff. I'm like, dude, I can talk. I don't think I'm like well rounded or whatever, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, is it? Thank God. All right, technical difficult. Yeah, I can't even say technical difficulties. That is the last house on the left for you. But yeah, man, I was excited to have you on. It's funny, me and you've been trying to like meet up like at really for the last 6 months. Like we've been trying to golf.
Oh yeah,
it hasn't happened at all.
No, we've been unlucky, busy.
Yeah. I just feel that whenever we would try to schedule it, it was just like really difficult. Like we had like opposite schedules and whatever, and half the time I would only be able to play on Sundays just because of work. I would work most Saturdays with FedEx right now. I think I was texting you too, man. Right now for the FedEx life is rough, man.
Yeah,
it is like, dude, it's like I mean I know that you've put in your hours when it gets to the summertime and whatever. Dude, I'm doing like literally 60 hours a week and I'm like dead.
Well, because of the holidays, too, right? You're doing a lot of deliveries. I'm assuming a lot of families are making Christmas purchases.
It's interesting. I'm wondering if last peak for FedEx, it wasn't that bad. I wonder if it was because I was a new driver, because I came on in October and then I was only like 2 or 3 months in, so they don't give you like these full routes yet. So now I do have like full routes that I do, and half the time, like if even if you get like a smaller amount of stops here and there, like what was awful for Amazon is like no matter what, they wanted like everyone to finish at the same time. So half of the days of the week you would be doing your Is that a knocking sound? Is someone knocking on the door right now? Oh, that's just the pipes. This is such an old building. This building is from the like early 80s or 70s when my parents were living here.
Thought we were gonna have a little Ghost Hunters episode.
No, man, I don't believe in ghosts. I only believe in one ghost.
And one ghost?
The Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Once again, even I said this last podcast too. For calling this the last house on the left, it's like a play on the words for the movie The Last House on the Left, which was like a horror movie, but where it's a pretty intense like one. I'm like a big horror guy, and I didn't like this one because it had like this crazy like whack scene in it. But the reason why we had why I called it the last house on the left is when we were living in Londonderry, we were the last house on the left of this cul-de-sac or whatever. Okay. So I don't know if you ever heard that, because I definitely know you. At least you listen to the Robert podcast, right?
I did listen to the Rob, and I also Is it David?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
listen.
know David, or you met him at least once
And a
or
little
twice,
bit of
right?
Shane's too.
Yeah. The Shane podcast was
That was all over the place.
Yeah. So, anyways, wrapping up the FedEx stuff, because we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you and our friendship and
We can talk about it.
all this crazy stuff going on in the world, bro. But wrapping up the FedEx talk, it's just like, you just kill yourself for like 6 weeks in a row, and then it like evens out. But with Amazon, like peak is a little bit worse, but it lasts till like, because it's Amazon, it lasts like much longer. So for FedEx, it just like get through these 5 weeks, and that's why honestly the last couple holiday seasons, people are like, I love the holidays and whatever. Dude, I'm like, I can't stand it, bro. I don't like Christmas music. I'm such a Scrooge, man. It's nuts, dude. So yeah, man, tell the people how we met, first impressions of each other, all that jazz, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think we met like right during the kickoff of COVID, and at the Merrimack Y playing basketball. I just showed up, and there were a bunch of guys playing, and I hopped in, started playing with you guys. And I don't remember exactly, but we just started talking. I realized we were Christian. And
it's funny because sometimes, dude, like, not to interrupt you, the way that, like, dude, I have such a bad mouth when I'm on a basketball court. I don't even know why. It's like, I'm not trying to. I want to represent God in everything I do. But then it's like, dude, you can only blow up a layup so many times and then just, like, let out a F word or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
One interesting thing is because we knew of each other for a while back when some of you would usually come with a couple friends, like I don't know if it was Zach or a couple other people as well,
Yeah,
but I was like, oh, this guy seems like pretty relaxed, like he's not like an angry dude, he's not like pissed off all the time, he's just like, you strike up conversation when you're at those times. Like we had a lot of people, so we would be waiting 2-3 games or whatever. I think just over time, man, I found out that you were Christian because I think you mentioned church or whatever. I'm like, oh, really? Tell me about that.
I would always have to leave early.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'd be like, dude, stay, man. Come on. Like, who goes to church on like
a Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday night. I mean, I could see why people did. We used to do worship practice those times, but yeah, man. And just the way you carried yourself, I always thought was very stoic. Like you're very much yourself, not trying to be someone that you're not. I feel like too with the basketball gym pickup culture, everyone acts like they're a hard ass, and I was just like, dude, stop. What are we doing, man? Like I couldn't. The measuring was just like too much for me.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm sick of it. But yeah, man, I don't know. We just we kind of, and the more that we talk, like a couple times, like a lot of dudes that I've gone out to dinner with after ball, like you're sweaty as hell or whatever, and then you have like you sit down to get like tacos or whatever, and then you're talking for 2 hours. And yeah, man, I think faith was just the thing that like we kind of both connected on. And you go to a church in, is it Lowell still? Where is it?
So I've been visiting a few churches.
You're church homeless? Me too.
I am a little bit right now, but that's okay. I'm still part of the church, the main church,
What's the name of it for people listening?
The Church of Christ.
The Church of Christ.
The Bride.
And it is in Lowell, or?
Sorry, what was your question?
No, I was just saying, the Church of Christ, is it in Lowell?
No, that's not the name of the church. The church of I was talking about like I'm not part of a church, but I'm still part of the church.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's go on that actually really quickly, man, because I feel like a lot of Christians these days, this is a conversation I feel like you understand since you really kind of just brought it up. I was curious. I'm like, when I was starting to talk after you said that, I'm like, oh, he probably means he is the body of Christ, It's so interesting how these days we look at, or a lot of people on the outside who don't like read their Bible, like be like, oh, the church is the building, and it couldn't be farther from the truth.
That's the people.
Yeah. Was that something that you had always kind of understood and whatnot, or?
Yeah, I don't think I ever thought, I just, when reading the Bible, when reading how Jesus and how, the apostles were writing it, my understanding was always the people, like, because it was never like a place. They weren't talking about it. as a place. It was like it's the physical gathering of the people, like people coming together. That's the church, and I think there's a lot of division against the church right now because of it can be political views, it can be just your what's it called, your
denomination.
And like if you're Pentecostal, if you're Revival, if you're Baptist, like I'm not a fan of the cancel culture that we have going on nowadays. Like if two people don't agree, they can't have a civil conversation and like go on about their days and be respectful. Like if you don't see it the way that I see it, like you're done. I cancel you, I block you, and that's it. But I think the church needs to come together and realize that like Christ is king and he's coming back.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting. Not to get all ready. I love what you were just saying. Not to get super political, as I mentioned, Kamala Harris. Just something that I thought was like honestly from just an objective perspective, someone was yelling like Christ is king at one of her rallies.
You don't belong here.
Yeah. Do you want actually? Let me pull up that video. Yeah. Actually,
Oh, you're at the wrong rally.
Yeah, and I just thought it was really interesting because I'm like, to be honest, even as a strong Christian, whatever, like I get it, that you want to be like an outlier in the face of like what a good amount of like that party represents and is really for, but I'm like, I don't know if I would do that at like a Kamala Harris rally. It just seems like I don't see a lot of productive like outcomes to that. What do you think?
Well, I think the outcome was productive. I think what he did showed what that party represents. If Christ doesn't belong at that rally, should we belong at that rally? Christ is king. Oh, you don't belong at this rally. You belong at the smaller rally down the road.
That was so funny because I was just like, even with politics and whatever, like there's so many crazy things happening, and they're like, my rally is bigger than yours, or like the Biden and Trump, their first debate. He's like, I'm a 6 handicap, like Biden saying, and Donald's like, I don't believe that for a second, like all that stuff. Yeah. Here's this video that we were talking about. Let me bring this over here.
But I think the video you're gonna show it shows that party's true colors, and their policies back it up.
Have you ever listened to Patrick Bet-David before? Do you know who he is?
I don't.
Oh, really? That's where I get all my news from now. They're like a center right like podcast. So a couple of them are conservatives, and then they have like a liberal, and then like Patrick Bet-David. If I showed you a picture of Patrick Bet-David, you'd probably recognize him. But they were saying, actually, let me play this video, and then I'll bring that thought to fruition after this. So this is Kamala talking at her own. I can go full screen here, right? Yeah. Oh wow, that's more than I thought. Yeah. All right, we'll just do this then. I'll bring this back to the beginning. Here we go.
Selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
This ain't the right one.
No, they. So when those people said it, the mic didn't catch it up. If you want, I can find the video, but this is the exact. I'm pretty sure it's this one, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think this is the one.
No.
Anyways, you get
nobody even told her that Christ is king.
Because they said it off the. It wasn't captured by the mic. So the original video is someone in the crowd is just filming. Hey, look at this rally. This rally, and then
the videos I've seen, you can hear him say it.
Yeah, because I think this one didn't have the. But you can. But the point is that you can hear her actually say like, "You're at the wrong rally" and whatever. Right. And I'm just like, even with everything that like. One thing that I'm trying to learn, because I've just been getting into politics, so I don't want to act like I'm this guy that knows what he's doing or saying. I just want to be someone that's like I'd like to be able to try to be a critical thinker and like actually know stuff that's going on. Because I'm like, if you don't know what's going on, it's like you're kind of just a sheep in a way, right?
Yeah,
I know that's
well,
always an insult,
well,
but like,
not an insult, but like, I'm not sure exactly what verse it is, but it's my people perish for a lack of knowledge. So like,
that's interesting. I've
you
never heard
can
that verse before.
you can pull it up. That's in the Bible.
Yes, sir.
So
Can you say that one more time?
My people perish for a lack of knowledge. So like, I think it's good for us to do research on what's going on and look at the signs of the times and look at the skies, because, a lot of people miss Jesus' first coming. I don't want to be one to miss a second.
Yeah. So what Guy just quoted was Hosea. Wow. That shows you how you know your Bible, man, quoting Hosea. I think I've like read through Hosea like once in my life. That's probably it. But it just says, so I Hosea 4:6, my people have perished for lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. I reject you from being priest for me. Since you have forgotten the Torah of your Elohim, I also forgot your children. Wow. It's interesting.
So I think it's good for us to not be stopped, for us to always seek not just knowledge, because with knowledge in itself is useless, but also wisdom.
Yeah,
so you can use that knowledge.
I was just going to say, everyone knows the Bible verse from Proverbs where it's like the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, right? That's very like common statement or whatever. So I just don't think it, like, personally, like, and there's a lot of things actually. Later this week, I'm reacting to the election podcast with 3 of my other friends.
Yeah.
So I have all these like links and different articles and like news things where I'm like, I just want to go crazy for like 2 hours with my friends, like have a couple margaritas and see what happens. But I think when it comes to, I don't know, I just feel like the image of that statement that she made, it's just not a good look, because like regardless of what party you're in, you kind of, if you could reach like to whether, if the, like, it's like the whole thing is like Democrats are going to have their audience, right? And then like conservatives will have their audience, or Trump is going to have his conservative audience, even though at times to a certain degree, yes, there are some Democrats that don't love Kamala Harris, and there are a good amount of conservatives that don't like Trump. It's, you get what I'm trying to say? Where
Yeah, I do. I think what happened at that rally was just another example of Kamala showing everybody, the world, what their party is really about. If somebody says Christ is king at your rally, why even say anything? Just let it be. Like, you just continue speaking to your point. But like you're saying, oh, she stopped what she was saying, oh, you're at the wrong rally. You should go to the smaller one down the street, like trying to mock. Okay, whatever. But and then like speaking about Trump and Kamala, but like I think that Trump is not perfect, but none of us are. And when we read the Bible, we see countless amounts of times that God have used imperfect people to do his will.
Think about even like terrible people to do his will. Like even look at like Pharaoh in the Bible.
Well, you can look at Pharaoh, yeah, but you can look at Moses. He killed somebody.
Right. Sorry, that was much better.
You can look at David. He committed adultery and also killed somebody.
Yeah. And was known as a man after God's own heart. Isn't that interesting?
So I think it's all in the heart, and God knows how many hairs are on your head, and he knows you before the foundation of the world was created. He knew you in your mother's womb. Yeah. I think I think Trump can be used by God. I mean, he's not perfect, but he stands up for Jesus. He proclaims his name when he gets the chance. And like his policies are not perfect, but they lean more towards the biblical side.
Yeah. I would absolutely say this, and personally for me, I'm totally comfortable saying this. I'm not a Trump supporter, so I actually when I just voted, I changed my political affiliation just to undeclared now because that's personally where I've landed for the time being. Doesn't mean I don't. Which I didn't want to say that on a podcast, so I might just go. I voted for him in 2016.
I did. I don't care. I'll say it.
2018. Yeah, I think I didn't really want to get into the whole reasons why.
You don't have to.
I think yeah, just because I want to save it for the next big one that I do, because else I'll just start going on a rant and we'll never see the end of the day.
Maybe we can talk about it off air.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good to me, man. I just think personally, just to wrap up the political stuff, it's just looking from it objectively, which, you know, people would be like, well, Ben, you're a Christian, so that automatically means you're like super conservative and you can't think critically. I'm like, all right, I would like to get to the point where I can be.
No, I think everything that you read, everything that you see, you should always take with a grain of salt and do your own research.
Yeah. Well, I don't think a lot of people think like that these days, but something to.
I think a lot of people should start, because even the people even the things that we see on the internet right now, like, we can hardly tell what's true or not with AI and like what kind of images and videos you can create nowadays, and like you can literally have like people's voices. Like,
yeah, so I've seen these fake Rogan things where
that's what I'm saying.
It's like,
like, so
wow.
You really don't. This is where discernment comes in, and you really need to be like deep in your Bible, and
that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like read the Bible, because it's like, I'm talking to myself because I'm trying to get back into it because I've had almost a year of like not really. It's I think I mentioned this a couple times as well in some of my other podcasts, but I'm like, I don't want to get to the point where I'm talking about the things of God, talking about the kingdom of God, all these aspects of God, but then you're not actually reading and communing with God yourself, you know? So that's something where, like, it is good, obviously, you know, I don't want to make it over technical or whatever, but I just think that, you know.
Can I maybe change your perspective?
Yeah, tell me.
Because you're waiting to get better to then go, like you said, you're not part of a church. I'm assuming you want to be part of a church.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Like, you're waiting to like get better or like fix what problems are going on with yourself to then go back. But like people don't go to the hospital when they feel better.
Yeah, that's
true. People go to the hospital when they're sick to get better. Mm-hmm. If you're sick spiritually, you need to go to a spiritual hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
And I heard this one thing by a pastor the other day. And he's like, I'll bet you $5,000 that for 3 months you hang out with 5 people that are more Christian than you. I bet you $5,000 that you're going to decline like that you're not going to increase spiritually.
Did you say that right?
I don't know.
I think so you're saying the more Christian community around you, the more you'll grow.
Yeah, so like, okay. you're gonna reflect the kind of people that you're with. So
100%.
So like what he's saying, like if you hang out with 5 people that are more Christian than you for 3 months, I bet you that you are going to become more Christian. I bet you $5,000 that you are like that you in that environment that you're not going to decrease spiritually, you're going to increase, because there's no way you can surround yourself with people that are more Christian than you and not like escalate yourself to be there.
Now I'm at the point where I'm like, I kind of have to go back to my church, because like after a year of like not and recently, when I say like not going to church, like I would say I go to church probably 2 weeks out of the month for the last like 3 or 4. And even before that, it was less. And I think at times, do we need our breaks and whatever? Yes. but I think with some certain people, and if you want to chime in, you totally can. They're like so concerned with their like going to church and being in community. But I'm like, but when you're in your community, are you actually like, are you just being like, hi, good to see you, all this stuff, let's do a Bible study, but never talk about the things that are actually happening and going on in the world? Like, once again, we're talking about the Kamala stuff, right? I'm like, I think that's something where I think it's cool to bring up, or it's interesting to bring up, because it's like, this is something to talk about. Like, this is could have been arguably like, obviously now she lost or whatever, but like, dude, she was very close.
It was a turning point, I think.
Yeah.
I think she lost a lot of votes that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think also maybe the last interview she did one interview with Fox with this guy, Brett Baer, which it was just kind of, for me personally, with my political bias, it seemed like she didn't want to answer, or had a really tough time answering some of these questions. So I didn't even feel like they were unfair questions. To a degree, this guy, Brett Baer, definitely like pushed her to her max. But I guess he did that with Trump, like in 2016 when he was interviewing him. But you get what I'm saying? So once again, it's
yeah, you're trying
back
to
the church stuff.
You're saying there's a bunch of hypocrites.
I don't use the word hypocrite anymore because because everybody to a degree is hypocrites.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think no church is going to be perfect.
Yes.
And there was this thing that I heard I watch a lot of sermons, and not watch but listen
like
to
online?
Yeah, like
what
if
people
I'm
do you listen to?
I listen to some Brazilian guys, Francis Chan.
I love Francis Chan.
He's good.
What a humble guy.
What's his name? Jack Hibbs. He's from California. I like him. I listen to him a lot. Billy Graham, obviously. But one thing that I heard is, it was a story. This guy came up to his pastor, and he was pointing out like another brother's like mistakes, and like he was saying like, oh, like this guy, I know what he's done. This guy, I know what you've done. Like how can these people be here? This and that, and like these people are all hypocrites and stuff. And the pastor goes like, go to the kitchen, grab a cup, fill it up with water to the brim, and bring it back to me. He goes, I
love this analogy. Keep going.
You've heard it?
Keep going.
Yeah. And then he says, okay, do 5 laps around the church, and bring me back the cup at still filled at the brim. And he goes and does it, and then he's successful, and he goes back to the pastor. He's like, here, I did it. And then the pastor's like, why were you so successful? And he says, I was my 100% focused, tunnel vision on this cup. I did not want to spill a single drop. And I think that's what we need to do. Like, I think every church is going to have problems. Every church is going to have hypocrites. Every church is going to have sinners.
Yeah.
Because we're all sinners. We all fall short of the glory of God. And as long as we keep our focus on Christ, because, we can fail, but Jesus, has never failed.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's and people can change and people can make mistakes, but God's word doesn't change.
Right.
That's all the same. Heaven and earth may pass away, but my words shall never pass away.
This is awesome, man. You're like a walking Bible, man. This is great.
No.
So, anyways, all that stuff to say once again about I've been burned by the church, all this stuff. Like I'm trying to figure out what church I want to go to. My biggest thing is that it's just a longer conversation. Personally, my thing is that I have people in my life that attend church that are so concerned about going to church and having the appearance of a relationship with God, where it's like I no longer base my relationship on my church attendance, because I'm like, dude, I have several people in my life where God has told me specifically to minister to them, and that does that mean to a certain degree, that doesn't mean it's like, all right, dude, it might not be the best idea to like be like 10 deep talking about like Jesus trying to convert someone. Like a lot of us young people that I know have been there. But the reason why I say this is now, where I'm at now, especially the last month or two, feeling like spiritually I'm getting more on the up and up, where I'm like, dude, I need to go to church, because if I don't, I'm like chaff in the wind, the Bible says, right? Because I just can't. And I have mentors in my life that which usually a lot of people like think of mentor as like a dirty word, like, oh, someone that just like sits and does this with you. Half the mentors that I have in my life are just like dudes I respect that are older than me, like farther in the faith. Thinking that this would be the best way I can say it, with part of the, this being the last house on the left. It's like, this is just a place for me where I'm like, I'm working out my faith, like literally as we're recording right now.
Aren't we all?
So I think I
think the Bible says pick up your cross daily.
Yeah.
Every day is a new day. Every day you pick up your cross.
That's why I have this tattoo right here. It says, die every day. Galatians 2:20, baby. Yep. So since we're talking about faith and whatnot, man.
Baby steps.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about like how you, like just kind of your life growing up in Brazil and then coming here, and did you grow up in a Christian family?
No.
Interesting. Yeah. So talk about that, man.
So I was born in Brazil. My mom moved here to the States when I was 1. I stayed with my grandparents until I was 8. Then I came here. My mom just wanted to come first, start a life, get a house, get a good job.
What job did she have?
House cleaner. She's had a lot of jobs when she first came here. I'm not sure exactly, but like at one point she's worked in restaurants. She's worked at Dunkin's. If you've ever been to Nashua, like on Main Street, that Dunkin's on Main Street, like we both worked there. Yeah, my mom worked there way back in the day, and then I even worked. That was my first job. Yeah.
Wow, my first job was Market Basket.
That was my second job. Nice. That was my second job.
That's where I met Colby too.
Yeah.
You're both baggers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I moved here when I was 8, and I've been at the same house ever since. I just recently moved out of my parents. Now I'm in Salem, New Hampshire.
Nice, man. Yeah, you were saying that over the phone.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I enjoy the location of it a lot.
Do you have siblings?
I do, yeah. I have 2 older brothers, 1 older sister, and 5 younger sisters.
Holy cow.
They're all half it. I have no full siblings.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They're all mostly from my dad's side. I have 1 sister from my mom's side.
Yeah. Do you have a relationship with your dad, or what was? I don't think I know much of that. I don't think we ever
he lives in
it.
Brazil,
okay.
So it's.
Yeah, because you went and visited him. Well, actually, this was probably 2 years ago. Last time you mentioned it, because
I went to visit my grandparents. I stayed with them for a day.
Oh. Okay.
Like I think I just stayed with them for the day and then left at night. Like I wouldn't say it's much of a relationship.
Gotcha. Is it your biological dad, right?
Yeah. It's tough, like he left my mom before I was born.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So like he was never there. So like I'm not even mad at him for, like, I wasn't mad at him for leaving me in the case, but like for leaving my mom to raise me alone, like he gave up on her. Like I don't care about giving up on me. Like I'm a man, I'll grow up one day. But he gave up on my mom. Like my mom had to raise me alone. That's the part that hurt. But yeah, luckily when COVID first came around, I was able to go to Brazil and I stayed with them for like 2 days. And this is like when I first became Christian, and I had it in my heart to forgive them. And I've been so much better ever since.
Were you carrying some of that weight until you like actually went up to him and forgave him?
Yeah, I would say so.
That's so interesting, man. I just have no context for that because my parents have been in my life for my whole life. So I feel like personally, for me being a pretty emotional person, I could see that just taking such a weight and whatever. And one of my other friends actually, who his dad like passed when he was wicked little, like 2 or 3 years old. And I remember he said this once. I thought it was so profound, man, where eventually we were talking about it like 2 years ago at this like Panera. And I never really asked him because we had been aware of it and he'd mentioned his dad before. But, I guess it hadn't really ever come up. And so I'm like, hey, man, what do you think is the, what do you think about, like, your dad and whatever, since you haven't been able to really, like, who's the fill-in for your dad? Because he had never, like, I don't think he has specifically some mentors, or maybe he does, I don't know. I think he might still go to church at Light of the World, actually. My friend Chris. But I remember he said this amazing thing, just to bring it all back, is, he's like, well, Ben, he's like, God is my father for eternity and for now. And I was like, oh, wow. It was just like a cool, sobering thing where that the touch of that, just the emotion behind that, like I don't know, the emotional confidence of that statement, that just like, God is my father. I was like, oh wow, something to totally.
I don't know if you ever seen the video of like Theo Von talking about that when I'd say he got a little emotional and he was talking about it. He's like, I'm not a religious person and all, but like, if there's a free parent out there, like, why would you not accept that love? Why would you not take that love? Like, if there's a free being, like a free parent out there, why would you not take it?
Interesting. So you lived with, going back to living with your mom or coming here when you were 8. Do you have a lot of memories of that? Like, what's it? Because my memory is trash, dude. I don't remember what I had for breakfast. Did I even eat breakfast today? I don't even know. But I was curious about the whole, one big thing I was thinking about when you came home. I was like, I'd really like to know, like, just transitioning into another country's, like, culture and whatever, and what that's like. Obviously, like, you met my friend forever ago. I think you met him once or twice. His name's Vitor. I wonder if his experience and yours is similar or whatnot. So obviously you were 8, so it's like, it's not, you weren't overthinking it, right? Like, what did Brazilians think of America when you were? I'm totally ignorant of what they thought. So I'm just curious.
I mean, I think at the time, a lot of people thought, it's the promised land. You go to live the American dream. Like anybody, if you manage to get there, you're going to have a better life no matter what. So, I mean, I think that's what my mom set out to do. Like, she came here to give me a better life. She left me with my grandparents for a bit, but it was to work hard and to set a foundation for me and my sister.
Gotcha.
And, I would say it was a bit of a shock, even though I was young. Like, I was leaving all my friends in Brazil.
Are you still close with anyone there, or anyone you came in contact with?
Very little.
How often
mostly
do you
family.
Go to Brazil?
There was a point when I first moved here, I was going back every other year. I was going like for 2 months, I would say, for summer vacation practically. So like, I would go there for 2 months, and then the next summer my grandparents would come here, and then the next summer I'd go back, and I would.
Gotcha.
But when I started working, when I was 16, it took 6 years for me to go back, and I didn't go back until 2020, and then that's when I forgave my dad, and it was a good time, and then I went back like 2 or 3 more times after that since 2020.
Gotcha. So what's like the biggest cultural difference from Brazil to America?
For me, it was, I think, the food. Yeah. Just not the same. And every time I go back to Brazil, like, I wish this food was everywhere. Yeah. Like, it's just.
Dude, remember when you told me, where was the place that you took me like 3 years ago?
In Lowell?
Was that a Brazilian place?
Yeah.
That food was amazing. What was it like learning English? Did you grow up learning English, or, because like, you're English, man, obviously, like, you've been here forever, but I'm like, you don't even have an accent.
At first, it was difficult. Yeah, I'd say my friends made fun of my accent for a long time. Yeah, it was difficult at first, but luckily, for like my first year and a half, I had somebody in my class that was Brazilian, and she would help me translate for me and everything. So I appreciated her a
Shout out
lot.
to her. Yeah. Because, like, dude, I would be a wreck if I tried to go to another country, dude.
I actually
Just the stereotypical, like, stupid white American.
no, she was a good friend, and then she moved away. Like,
Where in Brazil? Out of curiosity, I want to pull it up on the map.
Paraná. Mariluz is the city. Mariluz.
Yeah, no, actually that was correct because I'm looking at this other
Yeah.
thing on maps. Anyways, I'm curious where Vitor was. Belo Horizonte. Also, I
He's
think,
in
like,
north.
not gonna lie, I'm not saying this just because you're in here. I think, like, Portuguese seems like a very romantic language. It, like, very much rolls off the tongue. Obviously, Spanish too, but just a couple of the ways that, like, that Vitor would pronounce. Belo Horizonte is like a huge city.
Yeah, I don't know if I would agree with that.
You don't think so? You don't think
I
it's
don't
a
know.
beautiful language?
It's a nice language, yeah. I don't know if it's romantic though. Like, because if only you understood.
It sounds like Elvish to me.
If only you understood Portuguese and you went to Brazil and you heard like people talk, like you would not think it's romantic.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, I just.
it's been known that Brazilians have like extremely dirty mouths. They talk a lot.
I mean, Americans have terrible mouths too. Well, so do the Irish. I wonder, dude. We should look that up. What country? Okay, so that's where. Like, it sounds like you're more up here, in Retro. Okay, interesting. Let's look that up actually for the sake of most foul-mouthed country in the world. Let's see what this says. I spelt it wrong. Whatever. The United States. Let's go, man. The United States, shout out to AI, is considered
We were number one.
the country that swears the most, with 41.6% of English language
Jeez.
tweets containing curse words. Holy cow.
No,
Holy
we're
cow.
we're in the lead by miles. We should not be proud of that.
United Kingdom.
41.6, and the next one's 28. That's ridiculous.
New Zealand 20 or Australia 26. Yeah, because you know the Australia, like, respectfully, for any of my female watchers,
These are tweets,
They love the.
right? Are they tweets?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, still,
that's tweets,
Still,
so-
regardless, that's crazy.
Well, let's check what's whether it's a
Road
stub
rage.
toe or a bad case of road rage. Pretty much everyone has uttered an expletive at some point in their lives. In some countries, though, profanities are put to use far more frequently.
It's the
than
U.S.
others.
Look at it. It's ridiculous.
The U.S. by far is the more foul-mouthed countries. Yeah, this is still the tweet thing, but falling behind are the Brits and the Aussies. Well, you know the Aussies. I was going to say this earlier. The Aussies have a favorite four-letter word that. You ever heard of the comedian Jim Jeffries?
I don't think so.
It's a four-letter word that starts with. I won't say it, but it starts
Yep.
with this.
Uh huh.
And I'm like,
See you next Tuesday.
yeah, see you next Tuesday. Exactly. That's all right. The country that swears the least frequently on X is Kuwait. Wow. When it comes to U.S. states, Maryland enjoys curse words the most.
Maryland.
66.
That actually surprises me a bit.
I feel like it would be like Boston or New York.
Yeah. Boston, maybe. Yeah.
This is so interesting, man. I'm so glad that we can pull stuff up now. This is so cool. Yeah, look at this map.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, guys, are you not entertained? I'm trying here. I'm stepping up. I guess you can't see the.
You guys are gonna have to start paying for a subscription.
Yeah. I'm also doing a Patreon, so please follow me on that. No, that's so interesting, man. Okay, so what? So then, U.S. states that swear the most. Then, what countries swear the least? I guess besides Kuwait, what countries? Oh shoot. Yeah, Kuwait, the Philippines.
The Philippines, huh?
What country can you not swear in? And you can. Swearing in public has been illegal in Jamaica since 1843, and the bad word law is still on the books. If you drop an F-bomb after stubbing your toe on the bench, or you sing a song with profanity in Jamaica, could incur a $1,500 fine or up to 30 days in jail. Oh, wow. Let's look at this one other
stub
thing.
your toe.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, what is the number one swear word? Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder even where the F word came from.
I heard that
Let's look that up too.
I heard that it was a
Let me get pull up the Anglo-Saxon. The F word is derived from a Latin word futere and the Old German word ficken fuken, which means to strike or penetrate. Okay. The word's original definition is linked to sex with violence and pressure. Pain. Yep, that sounds like that. Yeah. The first documented introduction of the F word in the English name was in 1278, but the original record has been lost.
Yeah, I remember.
The word was, according to the dictionary, in 15. That's still crazy. Yeah, that's so interesting. Wow. The invention of the internet led to a flood of swearing online. Yeah, man, because you can just say whatever the hell you want and get away with it.
Oh, yeah.
Half the time. But then it's like, but if you say, like, if you say my pronoun wrong, I'm going to cancel you, right? We don't have to go down that road. I just want to look at this one.
I think that whole thing's ridiculous.
Yeah, me too.
I think you should do whatever you want to do, but just don't involve me or my children.
Yeah, facts. So this is one other random article I just saw, guys, when I was pulling this up. This has to do with basically 10 lesser known travel laws around the world. So I just want to rip through these really quick. Leave knockoff Louis Vuitton baggage at home when visiting France. Many fashionistas can't resist the classic look of a Louis Vuitton or a Yves Saint Laurent purse, but can't stomach the high price tag. If you try to enter France with a fake Louis Vuitton bag, it can be confiscated at the border. Can charge you up to 3 years in prison. Slap you with a fine for 300k euros.
That's a weird law.
Interesting. Keep camo out of the Caribbean. Camouflage shirts and bags are trendy in the U.S., but you should leave your favorite camo clothing with. That's so interesting. I'm trying to jump around a little bit so I don't have to read the whole article word for word. Barbados wearing camouflage. Interesting. Oh, yeah, because it can be confused with military uniforms, I guess. Even pink, blue, or black camouflage? Come on, man. That's wild.
Wow.
Wearing a swimsuit is only allowed on the beach in Grenada. Tell that to your strip clubs. Just kidding. I don't know if Grenada... I mean, I'm sure Grenada has their, their nightlife. This is so interesting. I'm sorry if this is boring. Spanish. I just find this interesting. Leave the football jersey behind in Mallorca? Okay, that's Spain, huh?
Yeah, Grenada is also in Spain.
No, Grenada's a country.
Huh?
Grenada is a country, Guy.
I'm pretty sure Grenada is a place in Spain, too.
I know, but I think they're talking about the country.
Okay.
I could be. I could be wrong though.
Because Mallorca is somewhere in Spain, so Mallorca is not a country. They're not specifically talking about countries.
Flock to Grenada to enjoy the island's. Well, I guess Spain is known for their beaches, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're
Spanish
right. Okay.
Towns.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. You're right. Well, wearing a soccer jersey isn't. That's interesting. Mallorca. While wearing a soccer jersey technically isn't illegal, so many businesses in Playa del Palma, I'm sorry,
you said that right,
have signed on to the ban. It's nearly impossible to eat, drink, or shop in the area while wearing swear off stilettos near Greece's historic sites. Oh yeah, that's probably
I really want to visit Greece.
Dude, that's somewhere where I want to go. I want to visit Greece, New Zealand, and I would love to visit Israel to see where Jesus walked.
I was supposed to go.
That's probably not going to happen for a long time. God, no.
We are. When we come back with him, but.
Huh?
When we come back with Jesus, we'll
yeah,
go.
I
We'll
mean,
be
that's
in
not
Israel.
going to be in this life, brother.
Oh yeah, well.
Gum is a no-go in Singapore. Chewing gum is a small, inexpensive treat. You may face 500 to agree. This is so stupid. Keep moving when eating in Rome. No visit to Rome is complete without gelato and pizza. Eating in or near monuments that can't be right.
That might be.
How though? But what restaurants?
No, it's eating near monuments.
Oh, where they enjoy their snacks. Yeah. However, to steer clear of trouble, they should.
You can eat it in the restaurants.
Choose a spot away from the man.
My friend was just in Rome. I'll
Yeah?
ask her. Yeah.
This makes sense actually. Avoid public displays of affection in Dubai.
Oh yeah.
Most public displays of affection are banned in Dubai, the capital of the UAE. Kissing, holding hands, or staring lovingly into your paramour's eyes can lead you in hot water. Similar bans on PDA are in a place throughout the country. Violate these bans and you can be hit with a fine, deported, or jailed.
Yeah, I guess you can't really swear in Jamaica.
And here we go. Keep your language clean in Jamaica. Wow.
The bad word law.
Yeah.
It's been around.
Rapper
for quite
50
a while.
Cent was arrested in St. Kitts for using profanity on stage during a concert. I don't think it's possible for him to do a
He's got the money
set.
to pay for it though.
Yeah, it's that's like freaking $2 to that guy.
1843 though. That's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute, dude. Treat the Thai royal family with utmost respect. Huh. So interesting. Wow. Yeah, and then but yet we have people like Brittany Griner that are getting freaking thrown in jail over a vape pen. It's so insane, man. Like, what a world we live in, and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a crazy world.
Oh, dude. Okay, now I'm so glad I brought this up. So, this is a great question to end on. So, are you ready? Brace yourself. You say you're a flat earther, right? Make your case.
No, nah.
No.
Just go do your own
No,
research.
You can't. You got at least. I got
No.
something, man.
Okay, I don't know what to say about it, so you can ask me questions, but
Please.
like, huh? You can ask me questions and I'll try to answer. Yeah,
You're not
but
gonna
like,
try to make your case.
I have no case, like, cause I'm not gonna like sit here and stand that I know, cause I don't know. Like, I don't know for a fact, but like the Bible says that it's flat.
I think that's taken out of context, though.
And just read it. Read it.
What's the scripture then?
It talks about the earth being on pillars, and this earth shall not move.
Okay. Bear with me.
That God separated the waters from above and the waters below. That He created a firmament. That the sun follows the race. Something like that. I don't know how. I don't know exactly word for word what the scriptures say, but
in the Genesis creation narrative, God created the firmament, a solid dome that separated the primal sea into upper and lower portions.
yeah, the waters from above and the waters below.
Allowing dry land to appear. The firmament is a celestial barrier that separated the heavenly waters from the earth below. The concept of the firmament was adopted into the classical and medieval.
Oh, I knew you were gonna bring this up, but
Come on, I'm just saying.
Like,
think about it. Just think about it like logically. It's like, dude, if the Earth is flat, then how can we go from California to Japan?
What do you mean? How would you not be able to go from California to Japan if the world is flat?
let me pull.
Okay.
Go ahead. What were we gonna say?
Oh, because like, it's not like just a flat plane. Like it's there's the center. Think about it like a plate. You have a plate. The middle of that plate is north, and the borders are south. So if you're in the middle, and you're traveling outward, you're traveling south. But even if this is the middle. Here's the United States. Here's Africa. Here's Europe. Right.
Okay.
If I'm traveling east, I can take a trip around the entire world. and still be traveling east the entire time.
Oh yeah, sorry. Could you say that on the mic because it didn't probably pick that up?
I can still be traveling east at the whole time and not change directions. If this is the middle, the magnetic pole, which all magnets, this is the middle, this is the North Pole, the magnetic pole, right? So if here's the United States,
Yeah.
and here's Africa, here's Europe, and if I'm here in the United States and I'm traveling east, right, and I'm making a loop, I can still loop the entire world and come back to where I was.
Doesn't mean the Earth's flat. It's a sphere.
Right, but it makes sense both ways is what I'm saying.
Well, no, maybe you're not a true flat earther then.
What do you mean?
Because that
you can ask me.
They're just saying there's an end of the there's the end of the like once you get to. Let me bring this up.
Yeah, and that's. Do you know the art?
So once you get to here, take Alaska or whatever, then the world just drops off.
Okay, well this is not the.
I actually have a globe in there.
Search up a flat Earth map.
Okay.
And then also search up the United Nations logo.
Oh shoot, that's Amazon. That was not a good.
Go in images.
Yeah. Okay, so just pick any of these, I guess.
Yeah, I mean you're going into eBay, but yeah, sure. Just stay there. Go there. Just scroll down a little bit. That's what it is. So this is the middle is the North Pole.
Yes.
The magnetic pole, and then here's traveling east. Here's traveling west.
Yep.
And if you're here traveling this way to the border, you're traveling south. And this is the Antarctic, which nobody can go explore. Like, out of all the wars that were going on right now and have ever been, like all the wars, the war in Ukraine, the war in Thailand with China, everything going on, nobody is allowed to explore the Antarctic. Nobody.
I don't think
for
that's...
penguins. That's the only thing that every country agrees on. I promise you that.
So do you just think that Antarctica doesn't exist?
No, I think it's.
But
it's
you're saying it can't. It the world does not. Countries of the world don't permit travel to there or any.
Yeah, you can search up the Arctic Treaty or the
okay. This is interesting.
The
I don't
Antarctic
know this.
Treaty. Treaty right there in 1959.
The Antarctic Treaty is an agreement that establishes Antarctica as a demilitarized zone for peaceful purposes and scientific research.
Which it's, I don't believe that is, but that is the only thing that every single country agrees on. With all the wars, with everything going on, you can't touch, you can't go explore, you can't, like, they have royal boats, like royal military boats surrounding.
Well, look at this. I just looked up, hey, can Antarctica be visited? And it says, yes, it can. There are things to consider permits. You need a permit from the treaty party to visit Antarctica.
Yeah, but you're confined to a specific location. You can't go explore.
Yeah, I think it's because it's so freaking cold, though, right?
Yeah, but if you're privately funded, who cares? Why are the penguins such at risk for me doing research if I had the money to go do it myself? Like, if I have the money to go explore, I wanted to go explore. Why am I not allowed to go explore?
Well, it's so dangerous, though, in Antarctica. One, because of the temperatures. I think also, isn't it the... I'm just so curious. I'll look this up. Why? I would say...
I mean, I would say that I'm not the best person to make, like, arguments like this about
I'm just
flat
curious.
Earth. I just think it's interesting. Like we said at the beginning, like... that my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Like, I'm not saying that people are going to perish for not knowing what it is, but me being a creation of God and living on his creation, I would like to know what his creation looks like. If it's flat or round, I don't care what the results are. I just want to know the truth. And I think that the lies that they've put into place on the reasons why they would create like a globe platform, it makes sense.
Don't you think that the globe platform is based by science, though?
No.
No.
I don't think that the Big Bang I don't think that everything can come from nothing, which
Well,
is a scientific
if-
impossibility. That's already been proven.
But people don't realize the Big Bang. Obviously, they don't give credit to God, but God created the. God spoke, right?
Yeah, God spoke, and that could have been like, "Let there be light," and that could have,
Maybe
sure.
it was a bang, but yeah, the Big Bang is not. When people
Sure, but-
reference that, they don't reference God creating.
Yeah, I don't believe in evolution, and I think the whole thing is
Really interesting.
Yeah, I believe in microevolution. I believe in species adapting to their environment, but I don't believe in a frog becoming a human eventually.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't even think.
Like, why
Yeah,
can't we still see monkeys evolving then? Because they're still monkeys.
So here's
Because if we came from monkeys, there would be no more monkeys. Because they would have all been evolved. Some are stupid.
Yeah.
They can't evolve. We would still be, but there's no evidence. We've seen animals adapt to their environment. Like if a bird, grew something on its body to adapt to its environment, like it's still a bird at the end of the day.
Sure.
But like they say that we were all in water, that we were, I forget the word that they use, but we were something in water. We crawled out of the water. We became this. We became monkeys. We became humans. Here we are. I don't believe in that. That's baloney. I believe God spoke into existence. He created Adam from the dust. He created Eve from his rib.
Okay. Well, but going back to the Antarctica thing, like I would say, so I obviously here are some things I just pulled up why like it's hard to visit Antarctica, but regardless of like the crazy extreme temperatures and whatever, isn't it? Antarctica is just like a land of ice, right? So like, isn't it super dangerous navigating those waters because of like all the, we think about like, the Titanic got sank by, an iceberg that they never saw coming, right? That just hit them. Mm-hmm. I'm sure like Antarctica, it's not at points of Antarctica, there are like actual land masses of whether it's actual soil or that's just frozen over or whatever. But I would just, I would think it's just super dangerous to go there. But I mean, there's documentaries all over the place from whether it's National Geographic or the History Channel about Antarctica. But
yeah, I'm sure it's a dangerous place.
Yeah, let's look what this says, and then we can wrap up. So Antarctica is considered dangerous primarily due to its extreme weather conditions, including intense cold, high winds, sudden weather changes, and the risk of frostbite and hypothermia.
So I don't believe in coincidences. Have you ever heard of Project Bluebeam?
Project what?
Project Bluebeam.
No.
So Project Bluebeam, you can do some research on this. It's pretty interesting. This was right after Nazi Germany had ended, and the United States hired a bunch of Nazi scientists over to the United States. They hired them to do work, and Project Bluebeam. And they hired a bunch of those scientists, and one of them was Werner von Braun, and he was one of the founders
I've heard that name.
He was one of the founders of NASA, and on his tombstone he wrote Psalm 19:1, and I don't think anything is a coincidence. I think one of the search up what Psalm 19:1 says. Like, I think you should take everything with a grain of salt and do your own research. I don't stand here proclaiming that I know for a fact that the Earth is flat, but I think it's interesting for me to.
Man.
I think it's interesting for me to.
The heavens declare the glory of the God, and the skies proclaim His handiwork.
So, the original translation is the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament.
Yeah.
Proclaims His handiwork. The firmament is the dome. And NASA and its original, I don't know if it's Latin or Greek, but it means to deceive. The word NASA.
No way.
NASA means to deceive.
Oh, Guy, we might have to keep going for a couple more minutes then. NASA means to. Oh shoot. Hopefully, I don't know if it looks like the camera's far away from enough, so I can't see how shitty. Excuse me, my typing is. What does NASA mean in Hebrew? NASA means. Oh, you said Latin, right?
It might be Hebrew.
means to lift or carry.
Well, you have two S's.
Yeah. That does actually sound Hebrew. NASA with two S's, meaning Latin.
Might be Hebrew. I might have been.
Yeah, but we're on Reddit, and this Reddit account is r/flat Earth.
No, okay, but
Now, okay,
you
cool.
can go to a different
NASA
source. This
Hebrew
is the
literally
source that
means
you
to
took.
deceive.
This is the source
You
that you
can't
picked,
make
but
this. Freemasonry. And so, were you trying to make a parallel, by the way, with the shape of the flat Earth map and the NASA map?
the NASA? No, search up the United Nations
Oh,
logo.
sorry, the United Nations. I misspoke there.
Logo.
Oh.
That's a flat Earth map.
Oh my God, dude.
Why is
what?
Why is there a logo a flat Earth map?
I couldn't.
I think the truth is right in front of you, and people are like, bro, one of the hardest things for someone to admit is that they're wrong and that they've been wrong for a long time. Like, that's their logo. That's a freaking flat Earth map, man. I don't know what else to tell you. There's just too many things that like it doesn't line up. It doesn't.
What a conspiracy!
Like go prove the globe. You can't.
Okay, so this is the UN map.
Their logo
is the flat Earth map right here.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. Wow.
That's the United Nations. That's all. Like that's everybody. And NASA means to deceive. Like I don't think we ever went to the moon.
Oh, that's crazy. that's not. Yeah, you're listening to too much Joe Rogan, dude. Yeah. We definitely went to the moon, bro. There is some inconsistencies though. All Maybe right. We could do a podcast on that.
I think it was all made in Hollywood.
But why? That makes no sense.
Why? Because if you can convince people that the Earth is round. And no, hang on, Ben. No, for real. If you can convince people that the Earth is round, that we came from a Big Bang, you are literally attacking the Genesis story of creation. You're attacking the story of how everything came into being. Because if you believe that the world is round and that we were an accident, we came from a big, even if you don't believe we came from a Big Bang, but if you believe that we're a planet. Yeah. It is literally like mathematically impossible for you to think that there aren't anybody else out there, like alien-wise,
we
right?
Can't get into aliens right now.
But if the world is flat, we are the center of creation, and everything that we do, everything that we say, is accounted for.
What do you mean center of creation though? Like
we're the center of creation. We're the center of the universe. We are the center. We're the point. We're the North Pole of the universe. We are the center of the universe.
Well, one thing too, that has to do with aliens, which I don't
want to get into that, but
I know that's totally different.
The top UFO researchers say that aliens are real, but they're not from out of this world. That's the top UFO researchers in the world. They say that aliens are real, but they're not from out of this world.
You know what's interesting, since we're briefly touching on UFO, there's this guy, James Fox, did this amazing documentary about UFOs. Which so do you believe in UFOs or no? You don't, right?
No, I mean UFOs like spaceships?
Like aliens.
No, I don't. I believe in fallen angels.
This guy James Fox has been
you might have to delete this whole thing off the podcast.
Why? No, this is great. I want to become my podcast is just a culture podcast, so it's just
got me talking about aliens.
So this guy, I'll just send this to you over text, but he went on this guy Julian Dory. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's a podcaster I freaking love. He'll have he'll have like UFO guys on. He'll have ex CIA officers. He'll have journalists on. He'll have ex like Secret Service people from Obama's personnel. Just all these amazing people, and more like not a conspiracy theory podcast at all, but definitely like someone that just a ton of interesting people. And basically the best way I could put it is that the podcast is about a lot of open secrets specifically, and he's not an anti-government guy or whatever, but just super interesting stuff. And that UFO documentary, I specifically listened to this long. He does like long form podcasts like Rogan. He'll have a guy on and break it into like 2-3 hour podcasts. But here's what I will say personally to me and my audience: when I see this, when you see the UN logo and the flat Earth logo right here, once again,
It doesn't make sense. Why is that the logo? They could have anything for a logo. Why is a flat Earth their logo?
why do some people?
It doesn't make sense, man.
This also, by the way, this one right here, Guy, this isn't a. Yeah, or
It's not
actually,
a
these
what?
are both UN maps.
Mhm.
This one and this one,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like. Yeah, I don't know. I just think I'm like, does it really matter? Like a lot of people argue too.
It's not a salvation issue.
Yeah,
Like if I believe in the globe or if I believe in a flat Earth, it's not gonna like.
but you don't seem like a
I'm
normal
not gonna
flat
not
earther,
be-
because most flat earthers, from what I see online and only through social media, it's like they'll just like, oh, there's just a place in the earth where it just drops off you drop
No,
off the
it's a
face of the
wall.
earth like Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's a wall. You ever watch like Game of Thrones?
Yes.
You know the ice wall that they try to keep everybody
Yeah.
back. That's what it looks like. And you can
How
go.
do you
it's
know
a
that exists,
bro.
though?
You can search it up. You can. Bro, there's pictures. I'm like,
There's pictures of this wall.
This is what I'm saying. That take everything with a grain of salt and go and do your own
But
research.
I don't know what I'm looking for. You just told me that there's a wall.
You can go to NASA's website and not for the wall. Not just search up the Antarctic wall. No, not NASA. The Antarctic wall. Like, look at that. Look at that. Exit out of that one. Bro, it goes on for miles.
Yeah, because it's the sea.
Okay.
So what do you mean? So
Okay, water at a standstill lays flat. It levels itself
yes, but
out.
this is ice.
I'm talking water. This is water.
Yes.
We're a big pond. This is what holds our waters in. This whole wall that surrounds us, that's what holds us in. Bro, gravity can't hold water for a ball. Like it can't. Water can't. It's gonna fall. You put water into any container, it's gonna find its level point.
I know, but
and it
it's
stays
not-
level. That's flat.
That the physics that it's different. The physics from a bottle of water are different than this.
Okay.
But I'm not trying to. Once again, I just think it's an interesting conversation. You absolutely have a point with the.
And then like, you ever been like at the beach and you see like a boat way off in the distance and then you think it goes off the curvature of the earth?
Yeah, because the Earth is like this.
If you grab a camera, if you grab a P100 and zoom in, you're gonna see that boat.
For a certain distance, yes, but not all the way.
You're gonna see a boat. You
If
can
the
search.
Earth was flat, then we could, if we had like these crazy telescopes, then we could go sit on Wallace Sands and then be like, oh, if I point it this direction, we'll be able to see Britain.
Okay, but you're not taking into consideration like the distance that you have and the amount of weather that you're gonna go through. There's clouds.
Absolutely.
There's a bunch
But
of
I'm
things.
like, what if you have like, even if you had a really high angle camera, then you should still be able to see it, right?
You can zoom in for as far as you can zoom in on a P100 camera. You can, bro. If you like, the boat goes off in the distance, right? You're at the beach. Hang on. The boat goes off in the distance, and it's out of view. And then you take your camera and you zoom in, and even if it goes for a certain amount of miles, the math that they give you for the curvature of the Earth, you should not be able to see that boat, but you're still able to see that boat when you zoom in with the camera. But if you take NASA's mathematical equation for the curvature of the Earth, you should not be able to see that boat, but you are able to see that boat.
You should not be able to see it, but you do.
You should not be able to see it because of the curvature of the Earth, but if you take the camera and you zoom in, you're still able to see that distance. Just go on YouTube or Google and just say P100 proves flat Earth. I don't know. And it'll do a zoom in.
Okay.
P100 camera.
All right, this is 4 minutes.
No, not the whole thing. Put P100 camera with no space. Yeah. No, not that one.
No, because that's going to prove your point wrong. No. Oh, we have to look at this after, Guy. Deep. Ooh, I don't know. Debunking flat Earth in 5:45. So we'll go to you first, and then we'll end on that. We'll actually end.
It's all right. You're not gonna find anything.
No, if there's actually, I want to find this video. If you say it exists, I want to find it.
No, there is. I'll show you afterwards.
This one? Okay.
I'll find it.
Well, okay, guys. I have to, since it's my podcast and I can do what I want, we are going to look at this 45-second video of debunking flat Earth in 45 seconds. We'll see if it's legit or if it's bull.
See, that's not what it looks like.
It's kind of tough. The audio's kind of weird coming through the phone. Let me.
Oh, another thing. Our constellations have never changed. The North Pole, the Polaris, the polar star, has always been in the same location. Our constellation, we've always had the same.
Well, the Earth's spinning, and everything's moving in space.
Right, but if the Earth is spinning and we're on the other side of every 6 months, we're on the other side of the sun, we should be seeing different constellations.
I don't know if that's true though, because
NASA claimed that the sun, this is NASA claims, not me, that the sun is moving through space and that we're rotating and following it through space. That's what they say.
Okay.
If that's the case, I mean, we're only 2,024 years after Christ. If we were moving through space, if we're rotating, if we're moving, if we have a wobble that they say we do, if we're moving the sun with the sun is moving, everything is moving. Actually, if you even look at those numbers, there's a lot of sixes in those numbers.
Are you trying to make a 666 calculation or parallel right there, like the devil 666? Is that?
Yeah, I think the truth is in plain sight.
This is the first photo ever taken in space. Back in October of 1946, a bunch of American soldiers and scientists all got together.
Man, I am going to get so much backlash.
Nobody's going to watch this podcast.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, you got to delete all this. You got to delete all this.
Space, and that's why this is the first photo ever taken in space.
See, that proves that the Earth isn't flat.
What are you talking about?
All the yeah. What about all the satellites? That was, I can't believe I didn't
Satellites
think about
are in
this.
balloons.
Satellites are outside of the atmosphere of the Earth. Yes.
No. Satellites are on balloons.
What do you mean on balloons?
Like helium balloons? Do you know that NASA?
So it's just like up where it's like the satellite.
Do you know that NASA are the biggest consumers of helium?
I believe it, but like, dude, they have technology like Elon Musk, right? You're an Elon guy, right?
What do you mean by that? Like,
do you like
he's
Elon
interesting.
Musk?
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Like, do you think his rockets aren't going into space? No. You don't think so?
No, I told you I don't think we've ever been to the moon.
Oh, my brother in Christ.
I think there's a firmament, brother.
And the firmament is once again
A dome
a dome.
separating the waters from above and below. We can't get through
So
it.
it's a dome. So Earth's like this, and then there's a dome.
Yeah.
So does space not exist?
The space not exist? Like it's not. It's
So where's
like
the
it-
firmament
it-
then?
it
'Cause
ex-
there's our atmosphere and the different. What are the different levels of the atmosphere? I'm looking like an idiot.
I'm not sure, but there's different levels of heaven. Like it says the heavens. Whenever it talks about the heavens, like I think there's
Yeah, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, the stratosphere.
mm-hmm.
So you don't think this stuff is legit, the troposphere, stratosphere? Or you're saying after the exosphere? I think there's actually a cool video. Have you ever seen the guy from Red Bull? He did the highest...
Yeah, using a fisheye lens camera. He did the highest jump from space.
yeah.
Yeah, he's using a fisheye lens camera.
What does that mean?
That it makes it look like that it's round. If you search up the video before he even takes off, everything looks round. If you watch that video,
Okay, so we can go that...
the lens that he's using, it's fisheye, so it makes everything look circular.
What are those fisheye lenses for then?
To record, it's just you can search
just
up
a
what a
normal-
fisheye lens.
Okay, so but really quickly, going back to the different kinds of atmospheres,
Mhm.
right? So you're saying after the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere, that's where the firmament roughly begins? Or is the firmament where... Because you were talking about constellations in the sky, right?
Yeah.
So that the constellations, the other planets, stars in the sky, that's the firmament.
No, I think that's outside of the firmament.
Okay.
Because there's different. I think
feel like you just contradicted yourself.
No, just like there's levels to this, to the atmosphere. I think there's levels to the firmament. You ever heard of like the seven heavens?
I've
I
heard
think
of the 7 levels of hell, but that's...
No, but like well, even in the Bible it talks about different heavens. Like we're gonna meet up with Christ in the heavens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it talks about heavens with an S.
Like, like
that there's
Christ
different,
coming on the clouds on a white
and
horse.
his throne is on the highest heaven. God's throne is sitting on the highest heaven. So like, it's flat, and then there's a dome, and then there's levels to that dome, and there are things in those levels. Just like this, like I think that like.
So this is where you talk about the highest heaven. This is the exosphere, the highest layer where the particles escape into space and most Earth satellites orbit. The exosphere merges with the solar wind at its top.
Try to search up something like
We can look up the Red Bull video as well.
flat Earth, different heavens. Like, I don't even know how I would search up. Try to search up an image of that.
This is ancient Chinese, though. So
Like an umbrella, yeah. So search up an image. Yeah, so like there's just we don't think it just looks like that. We don't that's not what I did think it looks like.
But so
I don't know why you went into it.
I'm just trying to because like I said, I'm an idiot, right?
Oh, I am too. I do not claim to be.
But so you think, but
Go on that one.
okay. The cosmetology of course it clicks on that one, but not the one I wanted. Hang in there, guys.
Or visit website here.
I'm human, yes. This is the cosmology of the Quran, Guy.
Quran? Just click on it. I want to look at it.
Ancient cosmology, the pre-Copernican universe.
But do you see that there's different levels to it? Like this, and then God's throne, I said, is on the highest one.
Okay.
I think there's different levels, and like the stars are on a level, the sun's on a level, this moon's on a level, but I don't think we're we're allowed to penetrate it. I really don't think we've been to the moon. I think
The way that I look at heaven, I don't even look at it that way. I look at heaven like heaven and there is biblical things where I personally believe in myself through the way that I look at things is that obviously it talks about the heavens declaring the glory of God, but I don't know. That's a good point, man. I guess it's something I should continue to work out with my faith, where it's like I think heaven is just a different dimension. But then you also look at the scripture, Jesus came from heaven down to earth, so I don't know. Let's look up this Red Bull thing. Yeah. Then we can call it a day. Right now we're at $1.45, so.
All I got to say is that I don't claim to be anything other than a follower of Christ, and I'm one of his creations, and I would like to know what his creation looks like. I'm not claiming it for it to be flat or a globe. I think it's interesting to look at, and I think there's way more evidence for it pointing to it being a flat earth than it pointing to a globe. You can literally look at NASA's website, which NASA means to deceive again, and go look when they talk about the globe, like the picture of they have the famous like blue.
My bad, sorry.
Good.
What were you saying?
The picture that we have of the globe, like look, everything is already round. Watch.
Okay, so they're lifting up the. But so with being a flat earther, though, man, you don't think.
Just watch. When it's like, look, it's a.
Yeah, because of the camera.
Shit. Because of the camera.
Yeah.
So it's gonna look. Lens, it's gonna look round. That's not the actual curvature of the Earth.
But then, so if once again, long story short, if you don't
look, that's flat right there.
Yeah, but you can tell it's curving right here.
That's the fisheye lens, bro.
No, dude.
That's okay. Okay, Ben. Look, I can't convince you. I can't change your mind. This is what I'm
evidence.
Go do your research. There's plenty out there, man.
And that's the thing is, though, I don't know where to look or where to start.
Okay, we can talk about it. We can do some research together. We can go to NASA's website and read off them.
Yeah, that's just an incredible feat. I wonder how long it took. How many?
Search up. Do you remember when Elon launched his rocket and it exploded?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that.
You think that was fake?
No, I think that was real. I think the explosion was hitting the firmament. Because if you pull up the video, the rocket looks like it scrapes along something and then it explodes.
Okay.
All right. Elon Musk rocket blows up.
Is it this one, Guy, or keep going?
Yeah, this one's fine.
This one?
Yeah, sure.
All right, this is
Let's see this one.
Musk's rocket. Boom, there it goes. When was this?
It wasn't too long ago. No, it was not too long ago. 2 years max, but I don't think it was even that long. Look, it looks like it's scraping along something.
I think it's just imploding on itself as well.
Okay, this isn't a good video. Find another one.
Okay.
There's better ones, though.
What about this one?
No, this one...
is this a different one?
This is a different one.
My bad.
You're good. Go down.
Dude, Perfect is now in space?
That's crazy.
How?
That's wild.
Okay, maybe this one?
But that looks like the same one we just watched.
It looks like it's from a different angle.
Okay, let's see.
SpaceX launched its Starship. About 2 minutes after liftoff, a trail of flames poured out of the bomb's engines.
Ready? So that's the rocket going.
Here it goes.
And then look. Dude, your videos are like completely different from mine. Like, look at that.
Okay.
It's scratching and scraping along something, and then it explodes.
Yeah. Okay. I could see how you could look at it like that.
The videos on my phone are much better.
Well, please send them to me, and next time I'll have you on, we'll argue again, and I'll be more
I don't like arguing. I like
or discussing
having a conversation.
I don't know. Honestly, man, like I said, I'm gonna be honest. So if I think something's questionable, I'm gonna say something. But it's like I don't
Please don't.
hate you or whatever. This has been like a great podcast, to be honest. Especially this second half is interesting. And dude, like having a flat earther on my podcast.
All right, I don't like being labeled that.
Oh,
like,
really?
No, because like I wouldn't, because I don't know. Like I can't put my foot down and say for a fact the earth is flat.
Yeah.
But I will say that I am convinced. Like you look at the word of God, you look at the evidence, you do your own research. I lean more towards that side. It's not that I know for a fact that it is or it isn't. I think it's something interesting for me to look at. That's something I enjoy looking at because in my mind, I'm one of God's creations and I would like to know what his creation looks like.
Interesting.
That's it. Like, I'm not claiming to be a flat earther or whatever. Like, I'm just saying, like, hey, have you looked into this? It's pretty cool.
Dude,
like,
I think it's super interesting. The
UN
evidence,
logo, the evidence points
logo?
like towards this. What do you think? Let me
NASA
know.
Logo. Sorry, not the UN logo, the NASA.
The UN logo, and there's other logos like that too.
The UN logo, not
the United Nations.
Sorry. All right.
Well, they say the NASA logo is like a snake's tongue. The red part.
Interesting. So once again, just this last question I have about all this is, so when you look at a globe or whatever, you don't think the Earth is a globe. Don't you think that would be crazy, crazy, crazy? Think about how many people in the world, though, go by this, in your opinion.
Why do pilots use
inaccurate.
flat Earth mathematical equations to fly?
See, when I hear claims like that, I just want to see more evidence because I'm not a pilot. I don't know what they're using. Uncle's a pilot,
This last time when I went to Brazil, I spoke to 3 pilots at the airport. Just like I'm waiting for my next flight, and I just see these people walk by. I was like, "You guys a pilot?" And I ran into one in the bathroom too, and I just asked them. I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm Christian," and I'm like I'm asking genuinely. I was like, "Look, I'm not."
You're asking questions.
Yeah, I'm like I just asked. I'm like, "Hey." First thing I said to this, specifically this guy in the bathroom that I ran into, he was brushing his teeth. But I was like, hey, look, I'm not gonna be upset or anything with like your answer, but I just need to know if I'm crazy or not. I'm like, and then I say like, I'm Christian. I believe the word of God. I believe in the Bible. And then I asked, is the word flat? Is the earth flat? And all 3 of them said, yeah. So like, they could be lying to me, but I think that they're lying to me about the globe. Because
that would be a crazy lie, then.
It is, and I think it's all an attack on the Genesis story of how the Earth is created. Because like if you
it's all about denying a creator, right?
Exactly. It's all to push people away from God, and this whole I don't even want to get into it, but like the rapture, that's gonna happen.
That's for part 2. Okay, we'll talk.
Let's leave on
aliens.
Let's leave on a cliffhanger then.
All right. Hey guys, well this has been awesome, Guy. You're the best. This was fun. I didn't even think till it wasn't the very end because I think we went on flat Earth for probably an hour. I'm gonna keep it all, guys. What do you think about Guy's statements? Am I wrong? Is he wrong? He did bring up some really interesting evidence regarding once again the UN logo, and then the whole.
I think what somebody writes on your tombstone.
Yeah. And what
I don't think
Werner, you said, right? That's the guy related to NASA.
Werner von Braun.
Jeez.
That's one of the founders of NASA, and on his tombstone when he dies,
scientist that we brought over after the war, right?
For Project Bluebeam, just one of them. He brought a bunch of them over.
Yeah,
but that whole thing is like what you write in your tombstone. Like that's what you want to leave behind for the world. And one of the founders of NASA, a Nazi, probably not Christian, left a Bible verse saying, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. I do not think that's a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe a blade of grass moves in the wind without God's permission.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. So this has been The Last House on the Left. We'll see you next time. Thanks for coming on, bud.
I don't claim to be anything.